Everyone, and welcome aboard the Pixelship. I am your host, Neil LeBeau. Joined with me is Ryan Blandy
I am Jose Canseco.
and Ryan Hayes.
Hello.
Ryan, or no, not Ryan. Joel Hartlob is actually not with us tonight. He is celebrating life, celebrating living. He's at the shore. That's what my grandmother used to
Relaxing.
call it, the shore. It was never the beach, the
He's loving
shore.
life, licking on some babies, and eating some ice cream.
Do you lick
What?
on babies at the shore?
He licks
Oh,
on babies at the shore.
good for him.
Weird.
I mean, Baby Licker, the game. Come out with
I
it.
don't I
It's
don't
good.
want to play that game. That game sounds
You
disturbing.
gonna lick some babies?
I was recommended a game that I can't remember the name of. It's like
Is it Ridiculous?
Freddy's Night
Oh,
something.
Five Nights at
Yes, we
Freddy's.
Five
should
Nights at
talk about
Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
looks
Because
like
it's
an interesting.
terrifying.
Someone
Have you
that I
played?
someone that I work with highly recommended it. Just out of nowhere. Not
It's
knowing
five
that I did the
bucks.
podcast or anything, she just came up to me and was like, "This game is awesome. You need to play this." So
I'm not sure if that's a PewDiePie game or not. Not like a PewDiePie like made this game, but like PewDiePie did it, and like that's how it got all of his exposure.
okay,
But
that makes
I
sense.
think it was like kind of the Let's Players that kind of brought it to the attention. I saw it pop up on Steam, and it looked super interesting and super creepy. And then I just kept seeing more and more and more of it. But yeah,
I
I
won't
don't.
play it.
It's $5. Like how shitty of a game can it be for $5? You know?
Right, and from what I understand, it's pretty addicting. Like, I
Well,
mean,
have you seen anything on it?
no,
Okay.
I got her description of
Well,
the game.
yeah.
Uh,
Here's
Avoid it and play it. I've seen a little bit of it. I almost don't spoil it. Are you planning on playing it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then
if you guys are recommending it and
I
somebody
think it
else
would be
recommended
super
it,
interesting if I knew absolutely nothing about this game and I didn't know as much as I do about this game. I think it would be a more enjoyable time. I think I kind of caught too much of it where now I know what that game's about and how it works to the point where I think that can take a lot away from the initial experience. So I would
I
say we
disagree.
should maybe table this and you should just play it.
all right. Well, all right. Let's try to get that done. I'll try to play that. Um, Speaking of things that we're gonna play or things that we have played, let's talk about what we've played this week. Actually, this 2 weeks. So Ryan Hayes, let's start off with you. What have you played, sir?
Oh man, I played a lot of fucking shit. I've been playing some more Sanrio World Smash Ball. That game is fun as shit for the Super Famicom. Was playing it with the lady friend, and we were both getting very mad at one another, which is what you're supposed to do in competitive games. So that was nice.
Sweet.
I also played some Hamlin No Violin, which is another Super Famicom game. I don't remember how I came across this, but I was drinking one night and then ended up buying it on eBay. But it's actually a really cool platformer where you are this guy. I don't know the backstory because it's in fucking Japanese. But you are a guy with a violin, and a girl counterpart follows you around. You play the violin to emit musical notes to take out enemies on the platforms and kind of navigate the world, and then your girl companion can turn into various animals. At this point, I've only been able to get her to turn into a frog or an ostrich, but it is weird as fuck and a super fun little platformer for Super Nintendo.
Pretty shitty animals, if you ask me. Frog and ostrich.
The animal select screen that comes up, it looks like there's, better part of a dozen animals. So I'm kind of excited to see, I want to
there
see
could be
some armadillos and shit like that. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
a llama.
it's called Hamlin No Violin. It's worth looking up. It's a pretty neat platformer.
And what does that
Uh,
go for in the secondary market? Well, I mean the only market for
think
it.
I paid $15 all in. That was including the $7 it took to ship from Japan.
Oh, all right. Well, that seems
And I
reasonable.
got it in like a fucking week because we live in the fucking future, and that's how long it takes for a package from a Japanese video game store to get to my house.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I've been playing some Silent Hill. I've been
Amazing.
playing some
Yay!
Silent Hill 2 as a direct result of playing PT, which I don't think we talked about last time on the show, but I gave PT a shot as well. That game is scary as fuck. And I feel comfortable calling it a game because it is kind of its own experience. I didn't finish it, but for anyone who knows kind of or experienced PT, it kind of has this weird, long, and not extremely clear solution. I think the internet so far has more or less cracked it. What you need to do to kind of trigger the ending, but you kind of get into these weird loops, and it's very easy to get stuck in that in order to find the quote ending, which really just results in the Silent Hill trailer popping up, or the new Silent Hills trailer popping up. But yeah, I was playing that, and it just got me jonesing for a good survival horror game. I've heard nothing but good things about Silent Hill 2. So yeah, I popped that in. I think it has kind of a slow start. It's very creepy, very atmospheric. But it wasn't as
You
scary
run
as.
in the beginning. You run forever. Like
Yeah,
trying
you're
to
just
actually get to Silent Hill is just you dicking around for a while.
you're kind of wandering around. And I wasn't super impressed. I don't know a ton of backstory about that game. Like I've seen, obviously Pyramid Head and shit like that, and I've seen it, when I was younger, but I don't really remember much about it. I'm kind of telling myself, this game isn't that scary. This game isn't that scary. I met the first like weird creature thing, and he, killed him with the piece of wood or whatever. And I'm like, this isn't scary. So I'm walking, and there's the audio cues, and then this thing comes flying from under a van, and I let out the girliest, loudest scream I have in a very long time. And then that game really started to pick up once I got into
The lore.
the apartment complex.
Yeah, the apartment is definitely great,
When
but really
shit
quick.
starts getting weird.
Really quick, I have an announcement. We are now joined by Joel Hartlob.
Oh,
So
hello, Joel Hartlow.
all you
Ahoy.
ladies out there, the heartthrob is in.
The heartthrob.
Are you
is
licking
back.
babies?
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
licking babies?
Yeah, did you lick some sweetie babies?
Oh, no, not often.
Okay.
Not often.
All right,
That's
we're
the whole
Joel.
point
You're
of
joining
going
us.
down there licking some babies.
All right, Joel, you're joining us right in the middle of talking about Silent Hill. I think where we last left off, Ryan Hayes has just entered the apartment complex.
Oh,
Yeah,
the original
No,
Silent
Silent
Hill?
Hill 2.
Two.
Okay.
Two.
So I have 2 and 3, and I'm gonna start playing through those because, fucking Halloween's coming up, and it's time to start playing some scary ass games.
Now, do you have these HD collection, or are these like?
No, God, no. I
Okay.
heard nothing but horrible things. I was able to pick them up secondhand for under $10 each, which I was pretty happy with. So yeah, gonna play through 2 and then play through 3. I really don't have a lot of desire to play through 1. It's also kind of on the expensive side. I think it's like $25 for Silent Hill 1, which is generally more than I try to spend, especially on a PlayStation 1 game.
It honestly 2 outshines it big time.
Two out.
And I heard 3's pretty decent too. Like
3 is definitely decent. 3, you have a lot more mall. You're hanging out in the mall a lot more, which
Yeah.
is a very cool
You get to
kind
talk
of
to
thing.
boys too.
isn't there like a fucked up carnival in that game too?
Yeah,
Well, that too.
that's where
Alright,
that's
yeah.
where the rabbit comes in.
But you get to go to the mall and talk to boys.
Right. But
Uh-huh.
two is, in my opinion, the greatest game in the franchise, and I think in most people.
That's kind of when I jumped in. And I'll be honest, I've seen the dog ending, and really that's my ultimate goal. But apparently, I have to beat that game with every possible ending before I get dog ending. So I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't.
Yeah, because you need the item.
Yeah, you need to get the item. But
There's like a dog office key or something you have to get.
yeah, hey, Blandy, we got the dog ending,
We did, yeah.
and I don't think we got every other ending to do that.
Okay. All right.
Well, you have to get. No,
We
I
did.
think. I think.
You're right. We did because I
Yeah,
just kept
because
loading
it
the same
doesn't show
save-
up in the
save.
doghouse. The key.
Right.
But is it
that's
one of
like-
those games where it's like, oh, the last 20 minutes of this game you just have to replay and like,
Yes.
don't go in that room?
Yeah. Well, sorta. There's certain things. There are certain endings that are based upon the choices that you make. Like if you heal right when you're damaged, and if you
Or if you don't.
or if you don't heal right when you're damaged. You know, like decisions that you make that make James's sense of mortality less of an issue.
Okay. Well,
Like,
don't spoil too much.
I'm
'Cause
not trying to
I don't
Yeah.
spoil
want
it. I'm
fun.
just, yeah. I mean,
I just didn't know, like, is it feasible for me to get the dog ending without playing that game from start to finish 3 times?
you can play it start to finish probably twice and get it, and probably
Okay.
not even start to finish. If you would save now, like you could probably get all the endings from where you are if you just entered the apartment complex.
Well, we'll see how I feel, because I kind of want to jump into 3 right after as well, so.
Yeah, three's pretty BA. I think you're gonna like what happens with 2, and
Well,
you're gonna like what happens
also,
with 3.
3 is a lot more dependent on one storyline as well.
Sorta, but I mean, you don't need. You can like read a wiki about the storyline and be okay.
Yeah,
to
I agree. I agree. Or just see like the first half of the first movie.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I did see the first
pretty,
movie.
You know, just that's pretty much the first part of that movie is the first part of that game.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Have you played anything else?
I beat Fez. Well, I finished the first part of Fez, and that's a really fucking good game. I'm really enjoying playing it, and I'm probably going to play through the second half of that game, which is basically just replaying the game with stuff you've learned that makes the game a little bit different, and it's pretty fucking good. You guys should totally play that, especially now that it's free on PS Plus, if any of you have that.
I will not be playing it.
I own Fez.
It's really good.
It hurts my brain. Fez just hurts my brain.
It's
You guys describing it hurts my brain. So
I kind of, to finish this game, the first part of the game,
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of shut up and just wandered around. Like, I stopped trying to solve a lot of the puzzles. There was like 1 or 2 that interested me for like the ultra cubes or the nega cubes or whatever, the purple ones, which are like kind of little puzzles contained in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of wandered around, and you can get everything you need to play through it the first time. And it's not a ton of backtracking. I think it's kind of built up, and like a modern Mario game where it's like, you just beat the game, now we unlocked a whole fuck ton of levels. It kind of has that take on it. It's kind of like, you beat the game, now you should probably keep playing this game kind of thing. And that's when the puzzles really start getting complicated and intricate. But if you just treat it like a platformer in, a rotating platformer, there's really not a lot to it. You're just kind of going around collecting yellow cubes, and yeah, there's puzzles and stuff to solve, but it's not too daunting.
Right, but my deal with the game is, if you don't solve the puzzles, it's epically boring.
I think it's kind of cool. Well, maybe I kind of powered through it on the Vita. So
Okay.
sitting on the couch, like listening to podcasts or watching a movie or something.
Right.
That was a really enjoyable way to play it, because yeah, there are parts that can be a little slow, and you kind of just have to pay attention when the puzzles start getting a little hairy.
Right.
But maybe that's the issue. Maybe playing it on a handheld system makes it a lot more enjoyable because it's slightly more of a passive game than it normally is.
And there are quite a bit of games out there that, I mean, I love on handheld, but I would never sit down and play. Like Pokemon, for example. I don't love Pokemon by any stretch of the imagination, but I know people do. And if you put
I love Pokemon.
if you put that on a console, though, like just being locked in, I don't know.
Yeah, I could never. No, that's a game you play in small
Pokemon
spurts
MMO.
when you're stuck on a train and you have nothing better to do.
Right.
Oh man, I got some Pokemon news for later though. We'll talk about that.
I think I've heard of this news, but all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely will talk about it. Anything else that you played other than destroying Fez?
So yeah, I forgot about this, but fuck.
You're licking babies?
No,
Darn it.
I did a stupid thing. I
What'd you
downloaded
do?
Magic the Gathering for my tablet.
Oh yeah.
and that was a stupid fucking choice.
Wait.
So
When you say Magic the Gathering, it's the Duel of the Planeswalkers, right?
the 2014, not the 2015,
Right, right.
because I heard the 2015 was terrible, and I really, really wanted to play a CCG, and Hearthstone isn't out for Android.
Pokemon. You should have chose Pokemon.
And then there's this stupid wrestling game that I didn't want to play. And then I just said fuck it one day, and I downloaded Magic the Gathering for my tablet, and fuck, I really enjoy that game. Like,
Right?
really, the problem is now it's like all that Magic I played as a kid is like, yo, motherfucker, you're back in, and you didn't even have to buy cards. Like, we have your back. Like,
Right.
we're gonna let you play just enough of this. Like, I can kind of see where the free version of this ends for the tablet. Like, there's like 1 or 2 campaigns and then all the training stuff, and I'm like halfway through the first campaign, and like the end is in sight, and they're gonna get my $10 They're gonna get the money from me because I'm gonna hit the end of that campaign and be like, nah, I want to play more fucking Magic the Gathering. Like, this isn't enough.
There has never been any. I mean, people talk about Pokemon, being like that kind of kiddie crack that it was, but I mean, how many Pokemon players do you still know? Magic the Gathering is one thing that
it scratches that weird itch, man.
It does.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't, I know that you're into Magic, and I know that you guys have been playing some, collectible card games on and off the Warcraft stuff and what have you. But there's something about those games that it just feels so good to win, and it just pushes you harder when you lose, and you're like, no, I got this next time. Like, I fucked up on that deployment, or I didn't use that spell when I should have, and man, those games are fucking great. My only complaint is the interface is garbage. It feels like that game was made 10 years ago.
I haven't played it on the Android, so I can't attest to that.
Yeah,
Negative.
That's my only. It's not enough for me to be deterred from the game, but everything's kind of clunky and kind of slow. And mind you, I don't have a new top-of-the-line Android tablet, but I know my tablet came out after fucking Magic the Gathering 2014 came out.
Right.
I'm fairly certain about that. So, yeah, but fuck, yeah, I didn't think I would get into this fucking bullshit. I was like, oh, I'll fire it up, and I'll get my fix, and then I'll be done with it. I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's.
I don't think it is either.
I think I'm going to have to go in.
I don't want to say that I was done with Magic, but I was definitely on a long-term hiatus from it, and I fired up a 1996 game called Chandelar. This was like.
Is that the Fireball on the CD-ROM?
Oh, sink it.
Well, I don't know what was on the CD-ROM. I honestly, it's free to play now where you can find it. But it was from 96. It was developed by the guys that developed Elder Scrolls, like the original dudes. So it's really fucking well made for a 1996 video game, and it owned my life, like it really did. And I feel like, I don't know, there's something about brain against brain, like Magic is, that just gives you that competitive itch, but it also has that element of luck, so that when you lose, you don't feel like you're a moron all the time,
It's like chess meets poker.
Like chess meets poker, yeah, with
Or
like
hug,
the
shake, and
occult
seek.
sprinkled in, just because that's fun.
Because why not?
Because why not? Awesome.
Yeah, I think-
So I'm pretty glad that you're playing some Magic again.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll report back next week, but I think I'm in it to win it.
Nice.
I just hope it doesn't make me buy actual fucking Magic cards, because that is not a hole I want to fall down again.
You can have some of mine.
You get 50-cent packs. I mean, it really isn't
God,
that bad.
God damn it! No, I don't. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been playing, and a lot of threes while I'm pooping.
Nice. For all you listeners out there that aren't aware of this, there was a big box retailer that messed up on the UPCs on their Magic the Gathering packs. So for a solid almost year, we bought our Magic packs at 50 cents a piece.
Did they fix it?
Well,
Nope.
that set has rotated out.
Yeah, but wasn't it left over from? It was from the old
Yeah,
set,
I haven't
Right.
tested it.
I have.
new
I
stuff,
bought
so
a pack
let's
of 2015. It was
and it was the
$4.
regular price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boo.
But I pulled a mythic rare out of the pack that I got. So I mean,
Nice.
that's not a bad 4 bucks
I'll
thing.
be honest, I haven't looked at all at the 2015 set yet, so
Oh, I haven't either.
I haven't even
It's
like.
one of those things. If I do, I won't be able to stop. Like it just when my brain starts working and I start seeing combos and I'm like, "Whoa, that deck's awesome." And then like I look to see if anybody's played it yet, and if they haven't, then I'm gonna fucking play Magic again. That's all that there is. I'm gonna see if this deck actually works.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So Hayes, have you played anything else, brother?
Yeah, but I've talked long enough.
All right, we're gonna move on then to Joel Areno. I know that you were at the shore.
Yes, I was.
You were looking
He's
at
playing a game called Licking Babies.
yeah, you were licking babies. So did you play anything when you were down there other than Dungeons
Uh,
and Dragons and Pocket Pool?
yes. Played Shadowrun Returns,
Oh, nice.
Nice. All right.
and I managed to beat it, and then I started on Dragonfall, which is the like expansion or
Yeah.
second story or whatever.
Right.
And I gotta say, while I liked like the kind of noir feel that the first game had, right? I don't know if any of you guys have played it at all.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Okay. It kind of had like that old school detective sort of feel to it. Like even how like it was written, how like the stuff was described out. It just kind of came across that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole thing is like the beginning of the game. You're trying to solve a murder, so it kind of.
right.
So
I liked it. There were some issues I had with just kind of how the game operated. Like I think one of my biggest gripes is when you were in like a dungeon area and you tried to, or like combat ended, it didn't actually end when you still did turn-based crap.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dragonfall fixed that, and so far, from what I've played, it has a better story.
Cool.
Like in the first game, you had maybe like you had all the characters and stuff like that, but you really only had like one person that you consistently could use in your party, and you still had to pay for her, right? Um, in this one, you actually have like a team of people that you work with,
Right.
but if you don't want to work with them, you can actually hire mercenaries instead. So it's kind of like you have the option to use these like dedicated like 4 people or whatever, or just using whoever the hell you want. And it seems a little bit more in depth and a little more open ended than the first section did.
Well,
So
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't one of the main draws about this game, at least it was for me, the fact that you can write your own stories, right?
yeah, and I've considered playing around with it, but I haven't
Okay. All
at
right.
all, and I haven't even like tried any user generated content. But I'm actually really enjoying the Dragonfall story and just the game itself right now. So
Yeah, no. I mean, I definitely would play through them both first, but
I gotta say that the first one's story did take like I thought I was done at one point, and it took like this weird turn and kind of like I mean it was cool. Like I can't complain. It was just like this. It was just completely unexpected,
cool.
like the turn that it ended up taking.
I
But
think Blandy, you played through it, right?
I think I stopped right at the end.
Oh, okay.
I didn't complete it, but I got past the twist.
I kickstarted it. I did. I kickstarted the game because I loved the tabletop.
Mhm.
And I honestly have played 20 minutes of the game.
You are crazy.
I know I am. I feel like
You're a madman.
it's very much like Fallout 2 or Fallout 1, really.
it's a little less.
And
It's
that's
a little less open.
fantastic.
It's a little bit less. Actually, it's far less open than Fallout at all is, but it does
Well,
kind of
no,
have
no.
that feel
Did
to
you
it.
play the original Fallouts though?
Yeah,
Okay. Fallout 1 wasn't very. I mean,
you could pretty much go anywhere
you
you
could dick around
wanted.
in the desert, but there's nothing out there.
You're
I
just
mean-
flinging shit.
You could more or less go anywhere you wanted. It's just if you did at the wrong time, you're probably gonna die.
Right.
I mean, this game you don't really have that option. It pretty much leads you. It's very linear.
Right.
Yes, I love it.
Okay. Cool. And did you play anything else while you were down there?
Nope, that was it. Game of Thrones board game, but that's not doesn't really count.
How was the Game of Thrones board game?
Bad. I
Yeah.
lost.
Bad.
It's actually
Bad because you lost, or
No,
bad
no.
because it was a bad game?
it's actually
No one wins in the game.
It's actually a decent game. I don't think it's very well balanced, but that's my opinion.
Is it like Risk? I feel like it can only be like Risk.
No, it's not. It's more complicated than Risk.
Are
Not
there
too much more.
are there floppy dicks like on the box for the game?
All
Wieners, wieners,
all over the
wieners.
fucking place.
All right, nice.
Like you yeah. You
Nice.
can't really open the game box without touching a floppy
Oh.
disk, so it kind of sucks.
You rolled a 6.
You,
Whip it out. Let's see your dick.
you open the box, just wieners fly out.
All right, cool. All right, Blandy, we're on to you. Talk about some Final Fantasy for me.
Yeah, I played Final Fantasy 13-3, Lightning Returns.
Oh yeah, how was
And
that?
I was waiting because I was planning on finishing Final Fantasy 13-2. And then I went like, I don't care enough about these characters. So I watched the ending on YouTube, and that was it. Which I have never done for a Final Fantasy, and I felt bad about myself, even though I should feel mad at Square for making me do this, for making subpar games. That being said, playing Final Fantasy 13-3, it's alright. Again, it's that bullshit combat system that Final Fantasy should not be. However, they kind of jazzed it up, and now it's... I wouldn't say it's even remotely close to Final Fantasy anymore. I mean, yeah, you got Moogles and you got Chocobos and shit, but no, now it's an action kind of...
Chocobos are like the ostrich fuckers, right?
Yes. Now you've just got this dumb broad that has no personality, but you have 13 days to save the world, and time goes fast, and you got to do this, and the game is like 6 hours long. And
Wait,
I
hold on a
played
second.
a Final Fantasy game is 6 fucking hours long.
I'm pretty sure the opening cutscene in Final Fantasy VII is 6 hours long.
It's bullshit.
That is kind of bullshit. I mean, I feel like all Final Fantasies are bullshit, but that seems...
Yeah,
Whatever.
so they worked this...
Explain something to me real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Final Fantasy 13-3. Why isn't
Yes,
this Final
that
Fantasy
means-
16?
No,
Or
no.
actually, Final Fantasy 17.
It's the third sequel to Final Fantasy 13.
It's the
Because
third-
every
so it's
Final
really
Fantasy is its
4?
own story. There is no, like,
It's
7
a
has nothing to
continuation
do
of the
with
story.
8, 8 has nothing to do with 9. They'll do spin-offs within... Think of each Final Fantasy as, really, it's just a different fucking video game made by the same assholes. Or different assholes, depending on which it is.
Yeah, it doesn't continue stories throughout that.
I
It
still
has
think-
minor. They have minor similarities, like Chocobos and Moogles.
It's like Call of
Sometimes there's
Duty and
crystals.
Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Ghosts and Call of Duty Anal Cavity Search.
It's like the Cornello trilogy.
Right, but in nowhere in Call of Duty Ghost does it say final.
Okay, well,
That's a little history lesson.
yeah, we can get into why that's called fucking Final Fantasy if you want to fucking...
The studio was dying. and
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be
exactly.
their last game.
Yes.
I had heard of this. Okay, all right. So Final
Well, the
Fantasy
point- the-
13, 17. How it was?
The point is, like, it's not bad. It's not a bad game.
Is it better
Uh,
than the previous sequels?
Didn't
I
you
would
just
say
say you had
yes.
to watch the ending on fucking YouTube? That to me says bad
No,
news.
no.
No,
He
that
said
was for
that was 13-2.
13-2.
13.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
13-2 was better than 13.
Oh, okay.
13 was just garbage. It's seriously garbage. Don't play it. Then 13-3, like, it's trying to do its own story, but it's enough where you don't have to know anything about the previous two. But, you know, there's, like, if you're invested with the characters, it helps. But
I feel
you
like
don't
any
need to
new
know.
gamer is going to walk in to a video game shop and say, Final Fantasy 13-3. Oh yeah, that sounds like a game that I'd like to play. Like what?
Yeah,
I don't understand how they get new business.
they don't. They are
They don't.
playing on people that have already loved Final
Then
Fantasy.
why don't they make Final Fantasy games anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah,
this.
that is my question. That is
Because
my fucking
They're
question.
trying really, really hard by driving that franchise into the ground. And hopefully, like Resident Evil, people will just tell them to stop making the fucking game and they can all move on.
Oh. Okay.
No, it's bullshit. If they did just give me a good story with turn-based combat, that's all you need to do. That's not all Final Fantasy was.
I mean,
And-
Bravely Default was the best Final Fantasy
Yeah,
game to be fucking made in years, and
Well, that's the thing. They saw that Bravely Default outsold this fucking bullshit.
rightfully so. Bravely Default was a fantastic game.
I agree.
All
but-
right.
The point why I brought it up, it's not a bad game, but it's more of an action RPG, I would say. They kind of jazzed up what they called turn-based combat in Final Fantasy 13. And now, while you still have an ATB bar, you just kind of switch through these costumes, switching through them to end the battle, because all of them have the ATB thing. So instead of having different party members, you just spam these different costumes while you're attacking this person, and then you quickly switch through new ATB, ATB, and then while you're using these other costumes, the other costumes are recharging.
Sounds
So
super
you're constantly
fucking
doing
boring.
this. You're
It sounds
constantly moving.
really, really lame.
Really fucking lame.
Really
Yes.
lame.
You're playing
And
dress up in a video game.
you are, yeah, and that's where they get you. They
And
go
you
like,
just
"Hey,
told me that you
dress-
just told me that it was
dress
an
up
okay
this-
game.
dress up this broad," and I'm like, "All right, well, what's going on?" And then they get you, and then they go like, "Hey, you like these costumes? Well, guess what? We got some other costumes for you."
Isn't
in
that the
this-
same shit they pulled in the X2?
Yeah. Hey, we got this other stuff you want. Hey, you got one for pre-ordering, didn't you? Yeah, I got Cloud's outfit and the Buster Sword, and when I end the battle, it has the Final Fantasy VII music, and she does the same thing as Cloud at the end of every battle. And I'm like, yeah, well, what else you got? Well, we got this stuff from Final Fantasy X, and how about Aerith's fucking outfit too?
Well, are these microtransactions, or you have to
Yeah.
quest for these items?
Yeah, they're
Are you
microtransactions.
fucking kidding
Oh
me?
my god.
And I spent $8 on costumes.
Oh my
You're
That seems like a bad idea.
That's
I
the
spent
worst.
$8 on costumes.
on a game that's fucking stupid.
Ryan. We're no longer friends.
That's the way they get you.
They
They're playing on your nostalgia. That's what Square Enix has finally started to do. They've decided, fuck it all. We'll put a subpar game out and then play on your nostalgia, so that you'll do it.
well, if
You'll
you
do
want
it.
if you want the Cloud outfit and the Buster Sword, why don't you just play the Final Fantasies that they come from? I don't understand why you need
Because
that
I've
in a
already
new game.
played them like 10 million times.
All right. Okay. That's enough Final Fantasy talk. Did you play anything else?
I like Team Fortress.
Yeah. Ryan had a big score on the marketplace.
I love
Oh,
selling
yeah?
these hats.
Why don't you quick run us through what happened with the marketplace?
I just buy the hats really low and sell them when they're really high.
Uh-huh.
Right, but
Uh,
didn't you buy a hat
We've
for
been
$30
through this.
and sell
Yeah,
it for
I bought like a hat for like $58, sold it for like 120.
That's really good.
That's
You
really
gotta-
good.
you gotta
doubled
get
your-
'em.
You doubled your money.
I think the difficult hump for me to get over would be spending $50 on a fucking digital hat.
Yeah, but then you get it back right away.
He's
I
just
mean,
been,
where's the guarantee?
He's been trading up.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm not. I'm definitely saying you made out ahead in that transaction. I just think that would be very difficult for me to be like, yeah, $50.
Well, here's the negative part about it, and this is where Steam is genius. You
I
give
can't
them
turn that-
actual dollars, they
Yeah.
give you back Steam dollars. That's it. That's it. I mean, they really
Yeah,
still
but then
have your
I
fucking
spend
money.
money on the video games anyway.
And that other person that paid that $120, they're also giving actual dollars. And
Yeah.
you're just getting Steam dollars
And
out of it.
then Steam collects
Oh,
like
yeah.
taxes
Oh,
from
hell
it.
yeah. It's like 2%, isn't it?
Yeah, roughly.
Something like that.
Yeah, they definitely got like at least $10 off that thing.
All right. Did you play anything else other than Team Fortress and Final Fantasy
That's what I
97?
do. That's what I do, baby. Oh, I did play Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remastered on Vita, even though I have it on PS3.
I've been thinking about picking those up on the Vita. How
Yeah,
are those?
it's a good time. I mean, they redid it in HD, which there's just facial stuff. It's not really like jazzed up, I would say. I mean, it's in widescreen.
How do we
Uh,
feel about this fucking trend? This HD collection
this
or.
HD jazz. Listen, if you're like a teenager, this is the best time for HD time.
No, because
Because
there's a handful of them that are just garbage.
It's a money grab. That's all it is.
it's a
It is a
money
money
grab,
grab.
but like, if I was a teenager again and I've never played Final Fantasy X, oh man. Oh man. I'd be
Yeah,
all over this.
but that's only because you like Final Fantasy X. That doesn't mean teenagers today are gonna like Final Fantasy X.
Everyone will
That's
love
not the
Final
point of the
Fantasy.
re-release. It's not the point of the remakes. The point of the remakes is to catch the people that already paid once for Final Fantasy X and have them pay again so that they can play it in pretty HD.
No, I actually disagree with that. I bought a couple of the HD remasters of like the Ico games, the Shadows of the Colossus,
Right.
and because I never played the first one and I didn't have a PS2 at the time to play Shadows of the Colossus. That thing cost me $30 and was well worth it, and that game looked great on the HD
Till this day,
remake.
it's my favorite game on the PlayStation.
I'm probably going to end up picking up The Last of Us when that goes down for PS4 because
Yep.
I borrowed it from a friend and I never played the DLC. So once that gets a little bit cheaper, I'll probably end up picking that up because that's 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
Versus the 30 and includes the DLC. I think there are a handful of cases where it's done very, very well.
Shouldn't that have already been released in HD?
You
It
would think.
was.
It's
It was.
remastered. I
It was
guess
released on
HD
PS3.
remake is
Okay.
not a.
Just
It
it
is
was only done
remastered
in
and re-released.
720p.
Either way, like
1080p.
the fact that that game came out what last year,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that they're already releasing an HD remastered copy because like that to me is
But I
just
would not have bought it. I'm not going to go back and buy it on the PS3 because I already played through it once and I borrowed it
Yeah,
from a friend.
it's
But
the
now
new
I'll probably
generation,
pay
folks.
$20 to 20 or $30 to replay it again and play the DLC. Like then
I
they're going to get their
understand
money.
that. I understand that. But I'm just saying like
It's a dick
like
move. I agree.
like you're falling into the money grab. Like if they had released all of that stuff originally with the original packaging and all that stuff, you're saying you wouldn't have bought it, but because they already made money off of the original and now they're re-releasing it and with all this HD stuff, now you're gonna buy it. So
No,
No,
I'm
he's
doing it because I
also-
want to play it and I never owned it, and now is a better time to buy it than when it first came out.
He
I
also
can't be-
has a
I can't be mad at them.
PS4, and he wants games for his PS4.
If people don't want them or they are seen as a quick money grab, cough cough Silent Hill HD collection, like
Yeah, I agree. That was
Then-
a horrible point.
then they won't make them. Like once they see that the market does not want those products anymore or customers don't see a value in those products anymore, they'll stop making them. I think there's enough of them out there, like the Metal Gear Solid remake. I bought that to play 2 and 3 on my fucking PS3, and I love that HD remake.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess there's definitely things pro and against. Joel, I agree that releasing something 6 months after it's released with a new remake now with 60 frames per
that's
second is a little bit.
I'll
of a dick
give you
move.
Last of Us.
That's-
That's a bit short-sighted.
that's
Yeah.
me like I understand like Metal Gear Solid like that. Sure, I would buy that in HD, but like yeah, a year later, like you're
Right.
trying. It's
Hey,
Well,
remember that
it's-
game you just beat? Well,
It's
it's
Yeah.
out
basically
again.
the Game of the Year edition at this point. It's, when you buy Borderlands
Yeah.
Game of the Year edition, it gives you all the DLC, but now it's a little bit prettier, it's a higher frame rate, and it has all the DLC.
I guess that's true. That's a good point.
It's
Too.
Not to
maybe
mention,
maybe
it
it's not a
also didn't
remake. Let's
cost
just
as
call
much.
it Game of the Year edition
Right.
with improved graphics.
Okay.
Does that make it sound better, Joel?
yeah. I mean, it's a little
You know what-
easier to swallow that way.
It was cheaper.
I understand that. That's not my point, Ryan. Like the cheaperness or not, it's not.
No,
the,
there are definitely cases where it's like you just fucking made this game.
Right.
Why? I
mean,
think
it's-
the Tomb Raider one I don't think has any real added value. Right? I don't think there's a ton of DLC. for that
She's
game.
got a new nose.
She does
Oh
have.
snap!
She looks worse. She looks ugly.
She got a little facelift, and now she's looking terrible.
Yeah, she looks a little grisly.
I
I
like
think
the
it's.
original model. Thank
I
you.
think it just comes down to my gripes with the whole DLC thing these days, anyway, and
Yeah,
how
we don't have a choice anymore, though.
we get half finished games and then have to pay $10 to get the full game, to pay an extra $10 on top of the 60 we already paid
Inflation.
to get the rest of the game, or like
That's kind of a bummer. I'll give you that, but we're in way too deep at this point.
I'm not. I mean, I don't think it's going. It's obviously not going to change, especially with.
I don't buy DLC unless it's season passes. I really don't. And
Uh,
Or
season
expansion
passes.
passes.
Or if it's like a Steam sale and they're like $1.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I'll choke on $1. But
Yeah, I don't know if I have ever bought DLC not in a season pass form, and it's usually at a Steam sale or at some
Right.
discounted price because it's way after the fact. Like I've never bought DLC immediately after beating a game, and certainly never bought DLC before buying a game.
I don't necessarily hate on all DLC. I think some can be good and
There's
fun.
a lot of good
It's-
DLC out there.
There
I
are.
just don't see the purpose of buying it before you even finish the game and know
Well,
nothing
what if it's
about
Right.
it.
at a cheaper price? Like, take for example, like if WoW started off and they went like, "Hey, in a few months we're gonna have another expansion pass thing. If you buy it now, it's cheaper than when it comes out."
No, because I don't know if I'm going to be playing that game by the time the DLC comes out.
Yeah.
especially
Like,
something
there's
like WoW
no-
that has a subscription fee attached
And-
to
Well,
it.
like say WoW didn't have a subscription fee.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, what
Alright,
I'm
fine.
saying
It's irrelevant.
is there's no reason to buy DLC for a game you haven't finished unless you're trying to get like a certain article of clothing, and that's a whole different fucking animal.
Yeah, we're not going to go down that road.
I
All right,
mean,
I'm
yeah.
going to talk a little bit about what I played this week. I played this week one game. I played one game. But I played one game more than I've played games in the past few months put together.
Dota 2.
No, not
League
of
Dota 2.
Legends.
League of Legends. God damn it, Neil.
I did. I played so much
He's
League of
in it.
Legends.
Oh, god damn it.
And I'll tell you what, I fucking love it.
You and Joel just go live on a MOBA island.
I
just
do.
take
I
your dirty
like it.
MOBA gameplay
It's an
and
easier
fuck out.
version of Dota.
All right. I recently listened to our podcast again when we talked about Dota 2, and
Uh-huh.
every single one of us said that it was overly complex for no reason. That's what we
Uh-huh.
all said.
Uh-huh.
League of Legends is not overly complex. So
Okay.
yes, I do enjoy the game a lot more.
I don't know.
Can-
I
can
feel
I-
like after you play Dota enough, the complexity disappears. Like
Yeah.
it's not nearly as complex as it seems as when you first start.
Yeah.
Okay, well whatever. I'm not trying to
Neil and
argue.
Joel, can
Right,
I
right,
ask
I
you
don't-
guys
I
a
don't-
personal question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel that your need to play these games like League of Legends and Dota, are you just dealing with withdrawal from not having a decent real-time strategy game made in the past 20 goddamn years?
Ooh.
No.
No, because
Does it give you something different? Like what?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's,
All right. Yeah.
Go-
What?
no.
What does it give you?
Okay. Joel, do you want to take it or I'll take it?
You go ahead. You
Okay.
start.
I
What
want to know what both of you think.
what it gives me, it does scratch that itch a little bit, especially like League looks like Warcraft 3, which I like. I like the fact that like the trees move like they do in Warcraft
Chunky.
3, like stuff like that. I like that. I also love and absolutely fucking just suck the dick of the competitive nature of the game. It is uber competitive, and it is so like based upon um, just outright play skill, and you don't find games like that. I, I just
But
don't
that's
see it.
Dota.
What'd you say?
That's Dota.
Let's
What
be
the
honest.
fuck is your deal, man?
They're essentially the same game.
In spirit, sure.
I mean, there are differences, but they're more or less the same
But
game.
I guess when I played it, like I just felt like it is a real time, like it has all the hooks of a real time strategy, resource management, timing, following units across the map, and kind of knowing what's going on in a map, even though you're not looking at that. Eh, I
Right,
don't
but
know,
you're also playing with four other dudes
Yeah.
trying to work
you
in
do in
sync
real
with
time
them.
strategies too, like online.
Not
I
really.
just want to
Not-
know what
Not
is
often.
different.
A five
Is it
versus
just
five.
easier to bite off?
Easier to what?
Like to
Well,
take like to
here's another thing, guys. Like, what about when you're playing with these 5 people and like this guy really sucks the D and he's stinking at the game and he's bringing you guys down. That's something in regular RTSs that you don't get, that you don't have to deal
I mean,
with.
yes, you do. If you're playing a team match, you absolutely do.
does the time investment have anything to do with it? The fact that you can play like a good, rewarding game in 30 to 40 minutes versus real time strategies where sometimes can last like 2 hours. Like, do you think it's more digestible? I guess is what I was trying to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was gonna say that a little bit
Okay.
earlier as to why I would prefer it over like sitting down and playing a StarCraft 2 game. Because I mean, sure, StarCraft 2 can last 10 minutes and you can be over and done with, but
But
it
those
can
aren't
also
rewarding
last
rounds.
it can also last 3 hours.
I think for me, I like honestly like I like RTSs, but I like RTS campaigns. I don't like competitive RTS
I'm the exact same way.
because
Oh, I'm different.
all of the like, and it's more the macro and the like paying attention to all of like building your base and all that stuff, while at the same time you have to like move your armies around, you have to micromanage them, make sure that like you're moving troops back that are getting hit and moving them forward. It's like it's just so much to take in, whereas like a game like Dota or League of Legends, you're controlling one person. You have to worry about one person. Dota, you kind of have to, I don't know, you have to like manage the courier sometimes too to make things a little more efficient, but that's way simpler than trying to micromanage your massive armies that you could have like two different armies in several different places while at the same time maintaining your base and making sure you're keeping up the pace and like technology and all that stuff. There's just so
Right.
much multitasking that I can't do it. It's
With
just like it's
RTSs, is that
stressful.
what you mean? You can't do
Yeah,
it?
it's just too much when it comes to competitive. It's too much.
I'm gonna be
Where
completely honest with you. When I first started playing RTSs, I was okay, but I would get steamrolled by my friends until I first like looked over and saw them using hotkeys, and I was like, "Oh fucking yeah, that makes sense." And then when you start using hotkeys and you start getting it down, I- Dota and League
It's like
have
falling in love.
have an excellent learning curve in the fact that you can see yourself getting better and you can see
Mhm.
yourself getting more competitive, and I think that that's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one thing that it has in common with the RTSs.
Mhm.
Um,
It becomes clear when you're not overwhelmed, when you're not stressed out playing a game. You're just
Right.
into it.
right,
Yeah.
right, and
No,
I do
I
see
find
what
them
you're saying.
super interesting. I like real time strategy, so I was wondering if you guys got something out of it from like the real time strategy world that is kind of keeping you drawn in. I just didn't know.
I almost wouldn't even like I know we want to keep comparing it to real time strategy, but like it
I
doesn't
mean,
even
that's my only frame of reference.
it
Like,
doesn't even feel like a real time strategy. It feels more like a Diablo game to me, or like something along
Yeah.
those lines. Like I mean, the difference is it has an auto attack as opposed to where Diablo you have to like hold down the right click button on
Right.
the fucking creature that you're attacking. Like, there's really, I like the comparison to real time strategy. I think only comes from the fact that it was originally a Warcraft 3 mod that spawned all these games. But there's really, in
You know, the
essence,
control and the interface and the map and the navigation. I think all
I
that
I could
is.
kind of see that too. But in the same vein, like I feel like the control of your character and the hotkeys and all that stuff are pretty much just the same. Like it's in the same vein as like Diablo. You know,
I
Yeah.
think that's yeah, that's right.
I think the difference, the one thing that you could say with Dota is the items. Like when you build items and stuff like that, that is straight out of like Warcraft or something like that. But
See, to me, it's the arena map. It is you are confined to this square, and these are all the resources you have, and you have to make the most out of what you're given. There's something about that that just and again, that is exactly what comes from. Hey, man, this is made out of Warcraft 3, but that's what makes that ring to me. Just like a puzzle game in the first person in these small like rooms is gonna ring back to Quake. Like it's not a first person shooter, but it's totally that type of
yeah,
it's just that comparison that you can draw it to.
Well, when it comes down to it, I mean, it spawned something that is really out of the norm. The two games.
It awakens something in you.
It awakened something, not in me, in everyone. I mean,
it's the competitiveness of it.
right,
I
and
think.
it's
Yeah.
like League is the most popular game ever. Fucking ever. In the history of video games, no game has been more popular than this. That's insane.
Now, how much of that do you think? Because I'm actually kind of talking out of my ass, but I'm making the assumption that this is a relatively new genre. I don't know. These
I think within the
couldn't
past,
have
Within the past
existed.
decade, yeah.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it a novelty thing? Like, do you think there's any part of it that's like this thing is new and fresh and
I don't
everyone's
think
kind
it's
of
going away.
after
no.
10 years, I don't know, man.
I don't think it's going away, but think before that it was competitive shooters and real-time strategies and games that have been out, arguably since the very, very early stages of video games.
But first-person shooters are still widely popular.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that
I see
it's
what
not
you're-
going to be popular anymore. I'm saying that do you think everyone adopting this is kind of like everyone trying to learn this new thing at the same time? And it's not to say it won't be popular, but the volume of everyone trying to figure this thing out has something to do with everyone's just kind of still trying to figure out what this genre is capable of. And it creates an interest and it creates an exciting time. It's, like chess. Chess has been around for a million years and there's so many, variants. There's literally the book on chess, that has, what is arguably like every possible game outcome and strategy and all these things. Like, I feel like the book has already been written on a lot of video games, and Dota and League of Legends are providing this fresh opportunity to be like, look, motherfuckers, like, we still have a lot to develop in this game, and you're all a part of figuring out what works in this and what doesn't. Like, these games are just starting to become big. Not to say that they're ever going to go away, because, fuck, we still play side-scrolling platforms with multi-million-dollar budgets. Like, video game genres don't go away. But I'm just wondering if you guys feel that that's some of the appeal is the community learning about this new type of video game together.
No. No, I don't.
No?
Maybe a small amount of it. But I believe what the appeal is. And I'm just going to talk about League because I haven't played too much Dota. But I mean, League, you start with one character, and you play that one character, and you play that one character a shitload until you can make enough IP to buy other characters. And that kind of replayability, it makes you invest a lot of time into the game. It makes you get better at one character before you can go on to another one.
Or you spend like $3 and just buy a character.
Yeah, but nobody does that. I think that you guys think that they do, but
I know people that have.
but it's not the way that you get better at the game. Buying
I'm not
characters
saying
is not
it is. I'm just
how you do well. all right, I know very, very good League players. None of them have spent $1 on League ever.
No, I don't. I totally agree. I don't think that's necessarily part of the game. I think it's an option for the game.
Right. But I believe that the reason that the game is so addicting and so popular is it's got uber amounts of replayability, and it also has that kind of in-game currency that you constantly strive to get more of. And it also they keep rebalancing it. They keep changing things to make it more competitive, to make it different than it was before. Like they'll take out players' abilities and put in new ones, just so you're constantly learning, constantly adapting to it. So I don't think that the novelty of a new genre is really all that's going on here.
And like
I'm
you
not
said,
saying all. I'm saying that do you feel like the communities? Well, I don't know. I just feel like
This isn't a game like Fez. You know, this isn't a game that like everybody's learning together. Like there are people that have played Dota or League or a bastardization of them for 10 years. Like there
but
are
that's not a long
legitimate
time for
veterans.
video games, man. Like, what
For
was
the
the genre
same-
that was created in
It's
the last
same
10
goddamn
years?
map.
I kinda
you play the same
disagree.
map every time. 10 years is a long time to play one map.
and from Dota to Dota 2, it was actually the same characters. They just remodeled them and changed some of their abilities and stuff like that. Like 10 years is it's a lot longer time than you think when it comes to video games. If you think about how long video games have really been around in full force. What, maybe 40 years? 50 years?
Video games?
Yeah, let's like one was what like Pong. Are we gonna go back that far? I'm just saying like 50 years maybe. So you're talking about
Well,
20% of the time that video games have really been a thing in reality. That's a long time.
I'm gonna say video games really started in the 80s.
I would
Everything
say
before
that
then
too,
is, is
but I
not.
mean
Alright.
that would be the 30 years then. So you're talking 10% of the time then, or no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a third
30,
of the time.
33% of the time that video games have been around. So 10 years is a long fucking time. Like it's not.
Yeah, maybe it was just as an external observer, everything seemed to be around strategy and changes and how, this character affects this and this character affects that. I always got the impression that everyone was still feeling out these games and
And you know
trying
why?
to get the most out of them.
You know why I think you got that impression? And this will segue pretty well. I
Okay.
recently watched a documentary called Free to Play.
Yeah,
And Ryan Hayes, I believe you also watched it.
yeah.
And I think that it is one of the best made shitty documentaries I've ever watched. It is really
Valve's got a lot of
it's-
money.
It's filmed very well. It looks like they put a lot of money into it, into trying to get more people to play a game without explaining the fucking game once. Like,
Yeah, I know nothing more about that game after watching that documentary.
What's the game that they're
Absolutely
talking
not.
about?
Dota. They're talking about
Dota.
Dota
Oh,
2.
really?
Yeah, it's a Steam put out this documentary. I guess I
Okay.
should give backstory called Free to
Put
Play.
out this propaganda
This
piece.
propaganda piece, right? And
Let's not fucking put lipstick on a pig. It's a fucking
Right.
propaganda piece.
right, and it's about Dota 2 and basically about one tournament for Dota 2.
The International?
It
Yes.
might have been the international.
It,
Probably
it's the
was.
only, yes. It's the international.
And was it 2013?
2012 or 2013.
Anyway, so it was about the international in that time. And what they did is they gave you like a basic everybody loves this game and moved into a basic they play this game for a long time and then just talked to this Asian guy about his girlfriend uncomfortably for for a good 20 minutes of the fucking documentary. And like every time they showed the Asian guy, the interviewer would always bring up his girlfriend every single time. Like the guy was like, "Yeah, I got to play well. I'm going to get this champion and that's who I'm going to play with." And they're like, "What do you think your girlfriend would think?" He's like,
Dude,
It's like
fuck
that,
you.
that reassurance that you can still have a girlfriend if you play Dota 2.
"Well, it
No,
was
but didn't his girlfriend
ex-girlfriend.
break up
Yeah,
with
his
him?
girlfriend broke up with him and he was trying
Oh.
to like win Dota to get her back. Is what it
Yeah,
was.
it's not great. It's not great.
No, but it does give you this sense that Dota is new and Dota is something that's,
Not around for 10 years.
not been around for 10 years, and something that's like you can get in on the ground floor. Like you can be one of the guys that's, you know,
You can
great
do
at the
it. You
game.
can
I
be the
don't know,
best.
maybe that's where I got that from. Maybe the propaganda rubbed off on me a little bit.
Well, I think I mean, maybe they're trying to play off the fact that Dota 2 itself only like officially got released like 2 years ago. It's
Right.
been in beta form forever, and then
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're trying to play off of that. I don't know, but
I don't know. When I see fucking Blizzard making a MOBA, and then I see the fucking Dead Island people making a MOBA,
Yeah, fucking
that's
terrible.
what makes me think like, oh, everyone's trying to figure out what
Wait,
makes
Ryan,
these games
Ryan,
great.
let's not get
What?
this confused, okay? The Dead Island one was a Zomba, not a MOBA.
Fuck.
Zombo!
It's a
But yeah.
Zomba, all right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's League of Legends / Dota 2. Now we're going to talk about that.
Well, you've kind of connected with my addiction, just in a different way.
Hey man, if you want to come over to the dark side, you can. I just here's my deal, and this is really what my motivation was.
Uh-huh.
I know players that are already entrenched in League of Legends,
Yeah,
already good at it.
I've honestly thought about that as well, but I mean, I know a couple people that play, but only for the fact that I would have people to play with. Like
Right.
I've been trying to drag people into Dota. Just I honestly I only played like League of Legends for maybe 2 hours.
Right.
I don't even remember it. But I know some people that do. I don't know. I feel like I always had this thing in my head that I would never play League of Legends. Because I don't know. I guess because it got so popular and I just heard like bad stuff about the community and stuff like that. So I kind of had that in my
Being
head.
a hipster.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm against League of Legends, and I may end up coming over to the dark side at some point. But I really like the community of all because like I said, I watch just as much Dota 2 as I probably play these days. But like I don't know, I've kind of connected in some way with the community that I've found playing Dota. Like I don't like talk to any of these people, fuck that. But like just the stuff that I've watched and all that. I
I
don't
get
know.
what you're saying. Yeah, like
Stranger
personalities emerge.
Yeah, I've kind of at this point it'd be like tough. I don't know. I feel like I'd be abandoning something if I just dropped everything and went to League.
All right. Well, I mean, make your
This
own
isn't your
decisions.
girlfriend,
Yeah,
man.
I'm not trying to.
You can
convert
have a
anyone,
girlfriend if you play Dota,
And if
but
you'd
you
like to
can't
find
have
me,
a girlfriend if you go to League.
that's true. If you'd like to find me on League of Legends and my level 8 self, you can just search for Lapubis, as I am on every other place. I'm talking to the 4 people that listen to this podcast.
I
None of
might
those
look you up
people are
on.
gonna play.
I'll look you up on there, Neil.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, let's move on a little bit. We're going to go to news. If anyone has any news before Ryan Hayes takes it away, speak now.
No, unfortunately.
I think I might have a hernia.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank
Amazing.
you, Blandy. You're always such a fucking charmer.
Newsflash.
All right.
All
So,
right, take it away.
the news this week. All right. It appears they are making a Pokemon fighting game that is initially going to be released in Japan
Yeah, it's
only, and then
only-
moving to the US and Europe.
Who told you U.S.? I didn't hear this.
I'm getting this off tinycartridge.com. The Pokemon Company has registered the trademark Pokken Fighters and Pokken Tournament in both Europe and the United States.
Interesting, because I heard that it
s-
was only in Japan arcades, and that was it. And if it's
They-
coming to U.S., we are going to the arcade.
Riddle me
Well,
this.
no, they are talking about bringing it to consoles in the US and Europe.
Even better.
Why the hell are we still talking about Pokemon? I just don't.
Pokemon is wonderful.
Okay.
It is
I love it.
wonderful.
All right. Okay. It's a dude that catches animals and forces them to fight. It's Michael Vick
Uh-huh.
in game form. It
Yeah,
makes no
it
sense.
100% is dog fighting the video
It's
game.
exactly-
Absolutely.
Those
I-
dogs don't die.
No, you just got to take them to the Poke Center and you pump them up with
Yeah,
morphine.
and they love it. They love it. It's the
That's
only life they know.
All right.
Next on the agenda is Mario Kart 8 DLC. There are 2 packs. One is a Zelda Mario Kart 8 pack. One is an Animal Crossing Mario Kart 8 pack.
Super
They
Smash
are $7.99 each, or
I'm
you can
buying
get
'em all.
both for $11.99. Each come with 3 characters. The first is Link, Tanuki Mario, and Cat Peach. Really, that tells me there's only one fucking new character and 2 costumes. They come with 4 vehicles. The first pack comes with Blue Falcon and a bunch of others they
F-Zero.
haven't said yet. And then 2 new cups for a total of 8 tracks. The next one, the Animal Crossing, comes with Villager, Isabelle, and Dry Bowser. So that one actually has 2 new characters. Dry
What is
Bowser,
Dry
well,
Bowser? What does
But
that
I don't
mean?
know. It looks like fucking Bowser,
Oh.
Is it like bones?
but dry bones.
Like
Yeah.
dry bones? Okay. Like so he's
I
a
assume he's
skeleton.
from a Super Paper Mario or something like that. Again, 4 vehicles and 8 tracks and 2 cups. Honestly, $12 for the DLC doesn't seem that terrible.
And
I'm
16 tracks in all.
Yeah, I
That's
think if I
amazing.
played that game more, I would pick it up. Like, if I had a lot of people that I played this with on the weekends, I think it's a great deal, but currently I don't play it all that much, so I'll probably wait.
I deal with the public in my job. That's what I do. I deal with the public, and every time I see somebody rocking 3DS, they're playing Mario Kart every single time.
Mario Kart for... was there one for the 3DS or only the DS?
Well, whatever.
Mario
There's
Kart
one on
7, I think, was a
everything.
3DS, right?
There's one on 3DS. There's one on DS. There was one
They're
on
great
Game
games.
Boy.
The DS one was fucking fantastic. I played that
Yeah.
one.
All right. Cool.
Amazon has purchased Twitch for just under $1 billion. I think this, more than anything, was just a thumbing at the nose to Google, who were in talks with Twitch previously. No one has any fucking idea what Amazon plans to do.
Yeah,
I assume that when there is a man
Very
in
well.
a bra and panties playing fucking Pokemon in front of a camera, Amazon will
That's-
now be able to suggest to buy those bra and panties from Amazon.com, or so I hope.
I love that.
Didn't-
That's
hold
a
on,
good
didn't we-
idea.
Didn't we
Did you
talk
think of
last?
that idea?
Didn't we talk last episode about stuff now getting banned because of musical content?
They got a third party to do it, and they thought that was
Google's doing, right?
in preparation to be purchased, which
Yeah.
clearly turned out to be true. Basically, to say that, hey, if you're going to buy us, don't worry about it. We have this copyright thing under control. Amazon's going to do what they need to do. I think the best part about the Amazon acquisition, or at least everyone's kind of hoping the best part about the Amazon acquisition, is it's much easier for Amazon to turn around and say, hey, Nintendo, you're mad because you're not making content, making money on, the content for your video games, but shut the fuck up because we're putting an ad to buy your video games on
Right.
our website. So, like, that, I think, becomes kind of the best solution, whether or not they do that or whether or not they just buy it to, give a big fuck you to Google because they scrounged up enough money to buy this thing that Google was looking at. We won't know, but it's all right. They kind of fucked up Woot. That's the only other property I know that they bought that I think kind of went sour. But
gotta be
Woot's still
honest.
functional.
I gotta be honest. I dislike corporations on most levels, but for some reason, Amazon is one that I just like. I do. I like what they do.
I haven't heard great things about how they treat their factory workers. I don't have the
No.
information to back that up, but I hear it's not necessarily all sunshine and lollipops, but what fucking company isn't?
Right. All right. Cool.
PSN returns after a DDoS last week.
Yeah, just some
and
idiots.
as I was kind of looking into this, it was not just PSN. Xbox apparently went down. A bunch of other services,
Blizzard's gone.
Battle.net went down. Yeah, like, I don't know whether someone just got like a shiny new.
Did
a
Twitch
new,
go down too because of that?
I don't like
League
stuff
of Legends
starting
went
to
down.
slowly come out about this. So I don't really know.
Because
you know, if-
Twitch was definitely having some issues the other day when I was trying to get on. Like it died.
yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
a
not
bunch
a
of
ton
kids
of
got-
information on
A bunch
this.
of kids got Loic and thought that they were awesome. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's
And then went to Twitter about it.
Well, all right. If
well,
The beauty
taking
of
credit
this is
and
that
actually
when-
being the person delivering this are two fucking different
Right.
things.
right, and there's, I don't know. I feel like with the Ferguson stuff, all the real hackers are busy. So
Yeah.
the kids are playing right now.
And then finally, for all of you people who loved PlayStation Home, bad news, it is
Dun-dun.
closing in Japan and Asia in 2015. Thankfully, there is no official word on when it will close in the Europe and the United States. So your dancing parties in the town square and your Far Cry 2 fucking instance party or what, I don't fucking know. I don't understand how Home has lasted this long, but it's shutting down next year. So fucking save your pool tables or whatever you need to do because it's going away, and I have a feeling the U.S. is pretty
All my
shortly after
digital
this.
items.
But
Any of you guys use it?
I
Yeah.
did when it first came out. I jumped in and I'm like, this is fucking stupid and weird.
Yeah.
And then I never turned it on again, and it would occasionally
I walked
update.
around in it.
What are you talking about now?
PlayStation Home, it was
PlayStation.
basically PlayStation Second Life,
Oh,
and it was garbage.
that's right. I remember. I
Second
remember.
Life.
Remember Blandy being very obsessed with that for a while.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a weird fucking game.
I mean, you would have liked it more if anyone ever would play with you.
Yeah, I don't like other people.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah, that's all my news.
All right, some awesome news. Some great stuff coming through. Amazing. All right, let me ask you a quick question. Last time I talked about your favorite controllers, which was fun. So this time let's talk about gaming gear when it comes to the PC. So let's run through our keyboard and mouse, what we use. All right. Let's start with you, Ryan Blandy. What's your keyboard and mouse situation?
I used a $12 keyboard from Walmart. It's by a company by On with two N's. And then I use a Logitech Performance MX TM mouse.
Yeah, you love that fucking mouse.
I love this fucking mouse.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mouse. It's kind of going dead now, so I might have to get another mouse.
Sweet.
But I love this mouse.
All right. Cool. You would recommend it. It has you can back and forward with it, right?
Yeah, the
With
wheel.
browser pages.
It's the wheel. It's the
Right.
wheel, and it's got a thumb rest. I got fat hands, man, and my fat hands do not like to drag themselves on the ground. So the nice thumb rest is nice. It also works very well when you're masturbating.
Right.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
The 4 people that listen to this are all awkward right now. All right. Joel, what's your equipment?
Straight up Dell keyboard and mouse. Or no, is it Dell? HP. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Just wired optical mouse. That's fine. The keyboard's a piece of shit because the number lock button is glitched out, so it'll turn itself on and off when I hit other buttons. So that's a pain in the ass because I can't normally use the number pad. But
See, I mean, you don't have to have the best equipment.
no,
No, you don't.
not at all.
Hayes, talk to me about your mechanical nonsense.
Yeah, I have a quickfire, rapid some voodoo from Cooler Master. It's all right. It's probably a lower tier mechanical keyboard, but it is super nice to type on. It is super comfortable. It's very responsive, and it's loud as fuck. You can hear me typing here.
It's loud as fuck.
I don't know if that picks up. But I like it all right. I will eventually want to switch to a little bit nicer because the cable's kind of weird and it gives me troubles. But
Would you
my
say that
mouse.
your equipment gives you great grief?
It occasionally gives me great grief. It's basically if the USB cable moves in a certain way, scroll lock turns on, and then the U button turns into 4 different characters. It's really fucking stupid. And Cooler Master has the world's fucking worst technical support, so I haven't tried to RMA yet. I'm just gonna get a new keyboard eventually.
That's my plan.
But it's nice when it works. My mouse is a Razer Death Adder. I'm generally not a huge fan of Razer products, but I managed to pick this up at a local computer store for pretty cheap. I think I paid like $30 for it. And it's just a nice little wired optical mouse. It's super comfortable. It fits my hand. It's got 5 buttons on it, which is more than I would ever fucking need on a mouse. For I've been using a gamepad a lot. I'm just finding that more comfortable to sit on my couch and play video games when it's applicable. And I actually picked up a wired Xbox One controller at a thrift store for like fucking $30 or something like
Yeah,
that.
your thrift store fines are retarded.
Yeah. So I really like that. I still think I like overall the DualShock 4 or whatever we're up to for the PlayStation, but I don't have Bluetooth on my computer, so I'm using a wired controller, and it's all right.
Right on. Well, I think I use a 360 controller for wired. But I think, Blandy, you use a Xbox One controller too,
I
right?
use an Xbox One controller as well, and I love it. I love
Joel,
it.
do you use a gamepad at all?
Yeah, I have the wireless 360 for the PC.
Okay. All right. Yeah, mine's wired, but I don't know. There's some the wired 360 controllers. They're tanks. I don't know. They don't die. I drop it constantly.
I used the 360 before I picked up this Xbox One, and I had no complaints with the Xbox 360 controller. I still think that's a great fucking controller.
Right on. All right, my Equipmonk is I use a SteelSeries Shift keyboard. It's the one that you can change the key sets out, which I have never ever done.
You do that. You do it
It's
right
like
now.
$40 for a new key set.
A new key set. I mean, I've looked on eBay to see if I can scope one out for cheap, and every once in a while they are, but it's always like games that I never play.
Call of Duty.
Right, or like World of Warcraft, and I mean, it would be a good like MMO key set because they all use the same fucking key set pretty much. But I don't play MMOs that much, so it's not too great. But the keyboard itself is awesome. I was not sold on buying it when I did buy it. I liked that it had the multimedia controller, the controls on it, and that you can program in special game keys that it has on there, which I've never actually used. But the multimedia controls work really well.
Yeah,
And
I
the
never
keyboard
use those special bindings. I feel like that's definitely an MMO thing.
Well, they're above the F keys. Why the fuck would they put them above the F keys? Like, it's just too high. Like, why would I ever go up there? when
Put
I'm
what
playing
up
a game?
above the?
The
Function
special
keys.
Yeah,
Oh,
the special
yeah.
key bindings that you can have for games. They're literally an inch above the fucking F keys. It's dumb. I don't know why it's up there. I do know why it's up there. It's up there so when you change out the key sets, you still have them there. But I don't know. It's just poor
Yeah,
design.
you know.
And my mouse is a Microsoft ArcTouch 2. It like folds to flat.
Better than ArcTouch 1.
Yeah, you can fold it to flat, and it doesn't have a wheel. It just has like a touch sensor.
Why do you prefer that?
I preferred it a lot in the beginning, like when I first got it, because
I know, you wouldn't shut up about it.
because it was so small, and because it's not a red optical, it's a blue, and blue can pick up on black a lot better than red can.
So mine's invisible, and that always creeps me out.
Oh, okay.
Mine's invisible too.
I don't know what that means. Like, is that better for...
That means it's giving you cancer right now, but it's okay.
Well, this
But,
one
like...
boasts to be the only thing that can track on glass.
Okay.
Which, I mean, if I tracked on glass would be awesome, but I don't. I figured, like, if I use a laptop, I would use this mouse so I could use it pretty much anywhere. But it's come to the point where it's time for me to get a new mouse. So I was looking at the Razer that you actually purchased.
The Black Adder?
Yeah.
Or Death Adder? That's good. I like it. I've had it for a while. If you can get them cheap, they're great little mice. There's not a lot to them, but I'll be damned if this thing hasn't, given me any trouble.
All right, that's enough of the boring stuff.
Can I just make one note?
Yeah, go for it.
You know what's very underrated these days? Mouse pads.
I don't use
Oh,
them.
I have one of those
Yeah, I don't.
gel wrist guard fucking mouse pads, and I'll never stop using these things. I've gone through like 5 of them, and they're the greatest goddamn things ever invented.
Even your basic, just straight up mouse pad, they're very underrated these days, and I just thought I'd like to say that.
I don't use. Do you use a mouse pad? Is that what you're saying?
I have one for my laptop, and I usually keep it with that because I have that. I have an optical mouse, like a wireless optical mouse that goes with that,
Right.
and uh, it's. I wish I need to get one just straight up for my desktop too, because I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy using a mouse pad more than just the desk.
They take up too much space. Where I
Too
use
much
my
space.
mouse is directly in front of my keyboard, which I know is odd. But
Mine's actually on a separate level of my keyboard. Like my keyboard's on the pull-out tray, and my mouse
uh,
on the main part of the desk.
yeah, that's how I do it at work. Anyway, all right. Well, this is boring. Nobody wants to fucking hear about this. I don't know why I brought it up. I just thought it would be a little interesting. Um, we are gonna sail away, I think, unless anyone has any other news, current events, any questions, comments, current events.
Jose Canseco news.
Jose
Jose
Canseco.
All right. Well, sorry we missed you last week. We were all out on different areas, but we will be with you next week, I do believe. I don't see any reason why we won't. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments for us if you have anything to add. You can also subscribe, which we now have no subscribers, I don't think, but if you are ever so inclined, you could. I am Neil LeBeau, joined with Ryan Blandy,
I am Chorus Leachman.
Joel Hartlob,
Dota 2's a shit.
and Ryan Hayes.
I have nothing pithy to say.
All right, everyone have an excellent evening.